500 horses in my chariot. I got 500 horses in my 500
Retro
horses in my
got back
500.
with another one, and as usual, in orderly fashion, I got them new joints for you. The LeBron 18 low. Oh man, let's just dive right in. Go balls deep, lift up the skirt, see what it's made of, man. All right, YouTube fam, let's see what we got here today. And we're looking at the LeBron 17 in all of its brand new wrapping, brand new packaging. This is basically like the LeBron 17 low. It's the LeBron 18 low, but it's like so similar that I almost forget. So the first thing that I'm noticing here, even over the actual textiles, is this taping that they're using to bind the textiles together. And what it looks like is it actually looks like, you know, one of like a Ferrari track. It looks like the skirt marks from a Ferrari, you know what I mean? It's like as if the guy peeled off on the shoes, and that's actually something that I've never seen done before, I don't think, not at least on any shoes that I've had before. So that's pretty cool. You have a white swoosh that is basically covered up by some more of that tape, and this one is a little bit different. This texture actually looks like maybe like what the tire would have looked like, or some of the tread on the actual tire. You have some more of the stitching, and I can understand why they would have done that, because that stitching, like, I mean, it looks clean, but it's kind of unsightly. Now, the toe box and the mud guard are made of the same materials, but this feels almost like they tried to add some sort of a suede texture to it. You're not going to have to worry about any creasing because this thing is like 100% textile. It's basically going to look like that, maybe a little bit worse after somewhere, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. These shoes probably going to be easy to clean though, man. I mean, textile uppers are real, like, they don't get dirty too quick. Your lacing system, you have these red eyelet lace loops in the center of the tongue, which is also made of textile. Once again, these almost look like a sort of a tire tread, and I like that. I like it a lot. You know, you see your King James branded stamp in the center there, LeBron signature on the top of the tongue. Now, the tongue's a little bit interesting. It's made of textile, but you know, you have this like rings that go through it, and it almost feels like those are, I don't know about like maybe memory foam, but it's something squishy, and it's something that feels good on your foot for sure, because it actually feels nice. Now, it's not everywhere. As you can see, I can kind of like press this in, right? And you can see the two loops of padding there, and that's the same on the back. You can kind of see this padding. The only part of this shoe that isn't really textile are these lacelet areas, which are made in this like nubuck panel, and it has some plastic elements here on the top lacelet section, but that's like nubuck right there. A Nike React branding, like obviously that's probably what they're using in the forefoot. Giant 270 air bubble, and that's very reminiscent of the LeBron 17's air bubble setup, and it basically is. They're using the LeBron 17 setup on this, and they're bringing back a favorite. So obviously people love the setup of the 17, like I was saying before. Now, one slightly hidden detail here is this LeBron James signature that's on the inner lip of this like rear ankle heel plate here, and this thing looks pretty sporty. You gotta admit, it gives the shoe its own spoiler, if you will. Now, one thing I do wonder about is why they didn't put the 18 technology in there. If you guys remember, I did the LeBron 18 Dunkman review, and I basically went into the tech and what goes into the tech, and I feel like it might have been a bit much to cram all that stuff into this outsole, because I mean, for a low, usually lows are meant to be a little bit more light and more agile. They're meant to usually be the lighter version of the flagship model. For such a light shoe, it does have a huge amount of ankle padding. It kind of pokes real far out there. You really do get the Ferrari feel, especially off of the insole there, where you can see the Dunkman pretty much like slamming on somebody in the Ferrari colors. Ferrari is one of my favorite car brands. I love their vehicles, man. They sound good, look good, race good, everything good. Very nice touch. This is basically a BRED colorway, man. I mean, it's a BRED colorway. They kind of played off of a Ferrari, and Ferraris are usually red, so I mean, I get it. Semi-translucent, smoky outsole with the black, and you have the red outline, which is the Air Max bubble, which is a cool accent and highlight. This outsole pattern is very similar to the LeBron 18 in the traction pattern. You have your shank plate that's underneath there in red, and that's what that is. LeBron James branding on the middle of the insole here. The forefront of the foot area is basically a little bit different than the 18 from what I've showed you guys in the Dunkman setup. They're saying that there's React in this, but the pattern is slightly different. Now, if you look at the shape of the shoe in the forefront, it actually has this like swoop up for, you know, toe strikers. So this shoe is very fast, very light. It's going to be good for guards. They're probably going to last pretty good because the build quality is actually pretty solid, and usually fully textile shoes last pretty long, man. These are probably a good option if you guys are looking for something that, you know, if you want a LeBron and it's not, you don't want something that's super expensive, because obviously LeBron flagships are crazy expensive. These are also going to look probably pretty good with your outfits, and you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be able to wear these anyways, man. So no problem copying these. They came lickety split. They came at the same time as the next review that I'm going to come. They came from the same place. I think these actually came from Germany, to tell you the truth, even though you can get them probably on Canada.ca. By the time you guys see this video, I'm pretty sure they'll still be full sizing, so don't even sweat it. That's pretty much the breakdown of the LeBron 17. There's not much to them. They're really light shoes, really fast shoes. They have the LeBron 17 setup instead of the LeBron 18 setup. Not sure why they did that. Probably because it would cost too much to produce these for a relatively cheap price if they stacked all of that tech inside of this shoe. So that's why they did that. BRED anything is always going to look good. These shoes are going to go with pretty much anything you wear, as I said. So now when it comes to sizing, when it comes to these textile shoes, you usually want to go true to size, man, because especially when they, you know, they do break in just slightly and the crease is wearing, you're not going to have a problem with how these fit, and you don't want to have extra space in there because it's not going to go away unless you like gain some weight somehow. Now, funny enough, just make sure when you guys are ordering from Nike.ca that you guys are clicking the right size, because the sizing options are a bit weird. They mash together the male and female size. So this is a size 9. I didn't even get my size, which is probably good to prevent me from keeping them. But yeah, man, retail price was $210 Canadian, and that was before tax. So it's probably gonna come to like something like $250, $240, something like that. So just beware, there is some tax on these bad boys, and they're not super cheap. They're not like a Jordan 1. Now, these shoes also released along with that like hyper berry colorway or whatever, and that, you know, that was really too loud for me, even for me to grab. So I decided to go with these to review for you guys because they're a little bit more plain, and I feel like when people find these, they're gonna go for these first, because not everybody's about wearing like pinkish purple and blue colorways. Box reads LeBron 18 low, black, white, university red, and as I said, this is size 9 because I messed up. Made in Vietnam, and this thing sucks, man. I don't care what anybody says. This box looks like a shipping container. It looks like I ordered something from IKEA and it just came straight up. Not a huge fan. Engineered to the exact specifications of LeBron James? Yeah, I don't think so. So it's pretty obvious to me that LeBron and Nike just basically took the 17, rewrapped it in the 18, and basically called it something new. It's basically the LeBron 17 low. This is the LeBron 17 low remixed. So I don't know if many of you guys are into the whip game and like follow what LeBron drives and all that, but LeBron drives a 458 Spider, man. This design obviously probably has something to do with the fact that he has that Ferrari, or it's modeled after the Ferrari. Anyways, yo, On Foot coming up next. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, as I said before. It helps your boy out in the algorithm.
I'm 100 miles in, I'm from the housing. At 26, seen 100,000. Make the work flip like a monk in Shaolin. I snatch a bitch, stroke her like a violin. See, my mom's was a nurse and my pops was an artist. Moms went to work, I hit the block with the lawless. Keep the clip inside the Glock, that's enormous. Panel shifting in the drop, then I floor it.
500 horses in my chariot.